Hey everyone, it's Erica. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have a card making process video for you, and I am going to be creating 3 different cards using some Catherine Pooler design stamp sets, her white 100-pound cardstock, and then some strips of cardstock from my stash. I just wanted to show that you can make some simple and nice cards using just a little bit of scraps from your stash and stamp sets. So I'm going to pull out a piece of this white smooth cardstock from Catherine Pooler. It is my favorite new white cardstock. I absolutely love it. I'm going to trim it down to 5.5 and then score it at 4 1/4. This is going to give me 2 nice card bases, and I'm going to use my small Martha Stewart scoreboard and score those at 4 1/4, and then fold them in half and get a nice crease going for these card bases. I also have 2 card panels that I cut down using the Catherine Pooler white cardstock. They are cut down at 4 by 5 1/4. This will give me a nice border around that panel. So I'm going to take my first panel, and I have these scrap pieces of cardstock, and I cut some small strips of them. I did the pink and then the yellow. These are both a textured cardstock. One is like a linen texture, and the other one is an embossed polka dot. And I'm just going to cut them down. I'm going to do the pink one, and then I'll do the yellow one, just a little bit thinner than the pink. I'm not measuring or anything. I'm just cutting them down. They actually ended up being the perfect length across, so I didn't have to trim off the edges. So I'm just going to add these strips of cardstock to the top and the bottom of my card panel using some Tombow tape runner here, and then also my Tombow liquid adhesive. I'm going to get these stuck down, and then I'm going to take, I pulled out a couple stamp sets from Catherine Pooler. I pulled out the Simply Stated stamp set from Catherine Pooler, and then the Happy Together stamp set that came with the recent Stamp of Approval box, the Adoring You collection. And then I also pulled out the Congratulations Sentiment stamp set that is also from the recent Stamp of Approval. I do end up only using Happy Together and Simply Stated, but I did pull all 3 to get started because I wasn't sure which sentiments I wanted to use. The Simply Stated stamp set is a great stamp set to have if you don't have very many stamp sets. This has great sentiments for birthdays, anniversaries, Mother's Day, congratulations. There's a thank you, and then a get well soon, and a thinking of you. So this is a great set if you're just getting started in card making. It has tons of great sentiments on there for all different occasions. So I got my strips adhered to my card panel, and I'm going to pick out a sentiment from the Simply Stated stamp set. I'm going to choose the Thank You stamp set, or stamp, and I'm going to ink that up with some Catherine Pooler Midnight ink. I'm going to adhere it here to my Catherine Pooler acrylic block, get that inked up, and then I'm going to test it out on a piece of scratch paper first because I just re-inked the ink pad because I was getting a little dry. I use this black ink a lot, so I made sure to pick up the refill as well, and I just wanted to make sure that it was nice and even coverage, and it is. So I'm going to stamp that down, and there's also a little heart on this stamp set, so I'm going to go ahead and ink that up as well and add just a tiny little heart there to the thank you. And then once I get that stamped down, I'm just going to add some Scotch foam tape to the back of my card panel and adhere that to the white card base. I do pull out a black card base because I thought that maybe I would use a black one, but then I changed my mind, and I like the look of the white on white. So I'm going to get that stuck down. I will make sure to leave links down below for all the products that I used in my video. If you're interested in anything, links are down below. I do use affiliate links for most of the products that I use. These links do not cost you anything extra to use, but I do get commission if you do decide to purchase something through my links. So if you do, purchased through my links. Thank you guys so much for that. So I'm going to adhere this down, and my first card is done. Super simple, and you could make, let's say like a set of 10 thank you cards, box them up in something really cute and give that away as a gift. Or you could do a whole bunch of these thank you cards and just have them in your stash for whenever you need to send out a thank you. Of course, you can switch out the colors of the strips at the top and the bottom, or add more strips at the top and bottom. Just a really simple design, but it's really, really cute. So I'm going to do my second card, again using the same strips that I used before. And I have the pink, and I'm just going to kind of do some random strips on the card panel. And there is some overhang, so I'm just going to take my small scissors here that I have from Stampin' Up! And trim off the excess that's hanging off. And so I'm just going to do a little design like this, and I think it is super cute. It's a good way to use up some cardstock that you might have in your stash that you just have little bits of strips. Instead of throwing them away, put them on a card, do a simple little design like this, add a sentiment, and you're done. I love the clean and simple look of this. I love all the white space on these cards. And then the way that the black sentiment pops with these nice pink and yellows. I just love the look. I love the look. Even when scrapbooking, I just love white. I love a lot of white space. And I just love this pink and this yellow color together. So I'm going to get this design done. Trim off the excess of the strips, and then I'm going to pull out the stamp set Happy Together from the Stamp of Approval Adoring You collection. I'm going to pull out one of the Congratulations stamp sets and ink it up with the Midnight ink. Just to let you know, the Midnight ink is a permanent archival ink. It will stain your stamps. If that bothers you, then that might not be the ink for you. They do have another black, I think it's a blackjack, that does not stain. So if you're interested in that, maybe that is the way to go. But the Midnight will stain your stamp. It doesn't affect the stamping at all. I mean, you just clean it off and, ink another color in it. It'll be fine. As long as you clean it off, it's fine. But the staining of the stamps doesn't bother me one bit. So I'm totally fine with it. I know some people do not like that, so just letting you know, if that does bother you, then maybe the Midnight ink is not for you. I absolutely love the way that this ink stamps out. It's crisp, it's black, and I love it. So I'm going to stamp this down. And I just love that script. I love that font of the Congratulations. On this stamp set, there's actually 3 different Congratulations on there in 3 different fonts. So that's awesome. So for this one, I am going to adhere it to a piece of black cardstock for the card base. And this is just a piece of American Crafts black cardstock from my stash. It was a 12 by 12 piece, and I trimmed it down to make some card bases. And I'm going to adhere it directly to the card base, no foam tape, just using the Tombow tape runner. I'm going to go back to that card at the end and add a couple hearts to that as well. So for the third card, I'm going to pull out this scallop punch that I have from Stampin' Up! And take the strips of paper and add little scallop borders to it. Just a little tiny detail just to change up a card design. It's very, very cute, the little scallops. So I'm going to take the pink and the yellow and add the scallop punch, and then pull out another white card panel, add the scallop border to the top and the bottom of the card, kind of like I did to the first card. But this card I'm actually going to turn on its side, and you'll see that in just a minute. Just to give it a kind of a different look. Since I do have scallops on that, and the scallops do remind me of more of a feminine touch or a feminine card. I'm going to use this card and do a Mother's Day card. So I'm going to pull out that Simply Stated card set, or not card set, stamp set, and then stamp out the happy and then the Mother's Day stamp. I love it because the happy is done in one font and then the Mother's Day is in another font. So the happy is like a tall, skinny font, and then the Mother's Day is in a nice script font. So once I get these adhered down, I will get my stamps adhered to my block, inked up, and then ink out or stamp out my sentiment. Just going to trim off the excess that's hanging over from the scallop strips. And then I turned that so it's going like the long way so that the scallops are on the left and the right hand sides. So I'm going to ink up my stamp, and I'm going to start with the happy and then stamp that out in the center of the card, making sure that I have nice coverage there on my stamp. And then go ahead and pull out the Mother's Day stamp and get that nice and inked up with the midnight ink, and then stamp that down. Now for this one, I did want to add hearts as well. I was going to use the little stamp from the Simply Stated stamp set, but then I looked over on my desk and I had these Illustrated Faith enamel hearts sitting on my desk. So to add just a little bit of dimension and fun to the card, I decided that I would use these fun little enamel hearts. So I'm going to use 2 of these little hearts and adhere it directly to a black mat. And then I'm going to take these 2 pieces and then adhere them to a white card base. So just a little bit more of layers on this one. You could also add some ribbon to this just to dress it up a little bit more, but these are just 3 simple cards, just showing you ways that you can use some strips to add some simple and clean and simple cards. Like I said, I will leave links down below for all the products. I hope you enjoyed these simple cards. I hope you give them a try. If you've been wanting to do some cards and you just don't know where to get started, start in your stash. Pull out some strips of paper. We all have pattern paper. We all have cardstocks. Give it a try. So I'm going to, like I said, I am going to add a couple more little things to this congratulations. I pulled out that little heart and I'm going to add that, and that pretty much finishes it up. I have some still shots of the cards coming up. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you guys are enjoying my card videos. I have more coming. If it's not your thing, that's fine. I have more scrapbooking videos coming for you too. Everyone have a great day. Thanks so much for watching. If you are not a subscriber, I would love for you to hit that subscribe button. Bye.